guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, so good to see you. I make videos for growing families. Haven't always made videos about that stuff, but almost 2 years ago, I had my son and I made a few videos, baby 101 style, where I taught people how to take care of a baby, because when I had my first baby almost 6 years ago, I had no clue what I was doing. So I made some videos to tell you how to do it in case you're anything like me, and a whole bunch of you came. And since you're here, I'm just gonna keep talking about how to do this parenthood, motherhood thing. So today's video is going to be purely encouragement for those of you who are watching and are mothers. Before I begin though, thank you so much for being here. If you want more of my family, you can follow us on Instagram at Jess_Hover. If you want more support in your parenting journey, you can join us on Facebook. We have a private Facebook group, Jess Hover and Friends. Answer the questions when you request to be in there so that we know you are real. And what else? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the little bell notification so that YouTube tells you when I make new content. And thank you so much for shopping Very Good Mothers Club, our small business that we run that helps fund our lives so that we can make these videos for you. I appreciate it so very much. So first, this video is a sponsored video. I'm gonna tell you about that, and then we'll begin with the story. Is there something in your life that is interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? For me, there's plenty of those things, but what I found was that the transition into motherhood was a life flip in a mostly positive but also very negative way, in the sense that I got really depressed afterwards. And I found myself living in Barcelona, Spain with a beautiful family in a beautiful home, living what looked like a beautiful life, and I was terribly depressed. And I needed access to a counselor that spoke English, but I was in Barcelona and I couldn't find that there. So I found this app that gave me access to over 15,000 counselors in their network, which meant that I could go in the app, really easy to sign up. They ask you a bunch of questions and you can tell them what your issues are, and then they match you with a counselor who specializes in the things that you need. By using BetterHelp, you can access somebody who might be an expert in what you need, but they're not in your immediate city. For me, that was amazing. I still use BetterHelp, even though I'm in California and there are plenty of amazing counselors around me. I find that this has been the best option for me. So very easy sign up. Once you fill out the questionnaire, BetterHelp is gonna assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating with them within 48 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional counseling done securely on the internet. The service is available to clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime to send a message to your counselor. You get timely, thoughtful responses. That was like my favorite part, is every time the counselor wrote me back, it was really helpful. And then you can schedule a weekly phone call with them or video message, depending on what you like. And you never have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. I true story, was sitting in a waiting room to meet with a counselor, and a girl walked in who knew me off the internet, and I wanted to hide because I was like, I'm not trying to meet people in a counseling office. BetterHelp is committed to great therapeutic matches, which means they make it easy for you if you want to switch counselors. If you start with somebody and it's just not the right fit, you can change. It's more affordable than traditional counseling, and they offer financial aid. For us, that has been so helpful. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today, and so do I. So you could do BetterHelp with me. Okay, go to betterhelp.com/JessicaH. That's help, HELP/JessicaH. And join the over 1 million people who are taking charge of their mental health with the help of a licensed professional. So BetterHelp is giving a special offer to my viewers. You get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp by using my link, betterhelp.com/JessicaH. Get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. You won't regret it. It's really good stuff. The other day, my friend Becca, who helps with this channel, she helps with the filming and the editing, and she is my business partner for Very Good Mothers Club. I keep pointing right over there because we run the business right over there in this house. But anyway, Becca said something super beautiful and profound, and it is the heart of this video. So she was talking about family, and she was saying, you know, I think family is the way we all watch Wilson when he plays basketball. So my son Wilson plays basketball. If you follow me on Instagram, you may see it in the stories. He loves it. He talks about it all the time. He wakes up in the morning, first thing is like, ball. And he goes to the hoop, tries and tries and tries, misses a gazillion times. And the way we watch him is by standing behind him and cheering for him, like nonstop, like, Wilson, you got it. Yeah, buddy, almost, you can do it. Yay, good job, buddy, you can do it. Oh, so close, you got it. Keep trying, come on, you can do it. And then when he gets it, we're like, woo, see, we knew you could do it. You're amazing, you're the best. And Becca was saying that watching him play was reminding her of family. It was reminding her of like what family is meant to be. Family is meant to be where we are with our people, reminding them who they are and cheering for them and being with them and supporting them. And when they miss the mark, whatever it is, we're there being like, that's okay, you were so close, or it's okay, try again. Or when they feel like giving up, you're the one who's there being like, we got it, you got it, it's okay, let's try again, you're not alone, let's do this. And I love that. I think that is totally what family is. And I also think that that is a really good picture of what I hope I can be for you, and what I hope this channel can be for you and your family, is if you are walking through life at any point in this parenthood, motherhood journey, and you're like, whoa, I am missing it, I don't think I can do this, I don't like this, I'm not doing very good, whatever it is, or maybe you're doing great and I'm just there being like, woo, you're doing so great. I want to be a voice in your life that can remind you who you are, how awesome you are, and that you can do this. And especially when it comes to motherhood, because for me, motherhood does not feel like my sweet spot. If you've been here before, you've probably heard me say that. I treasure the fact that I can be a mom. I think it is one of the best gifts of my whole life, and yet I don't feel like I'm particularly good at this. I'd never like really dreamed of being a mom. I want to say that gently because I know that there are people who do dream of being a mom and they are not yet moms. I don't take it lightly that I have been able to have 3 babies. I think that is a huge honor. At the same time, it's been a bumpy adjustment. Jessica becoming a mom was not smooth, and I still have plenty of days where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I'm great at this, I keep making mistakes. And kind of why I would put myself out there to you on this YouTube channel about parenthood and all of that is because I feel like if I can do this, you can definitely do this. And I want to be somebody who just reminds you of that over and over again. And if there are ways that I can help you practically in your parenting lives, I would like to do that. In this video, what I want to talk about specifically is the life flip that happens when we become a mom and why that feels so hard. Maybe you're watching and becoming a mom did not feel hard. That's okay. You then, I don't know, maybe you wouldn't relate to this. Maybe you'd want to turn it off. Don't waste your time. No problem. If anything, it could help you relate to the other women in your life who became moms and didn't glide into it in the same way that you felt like you did. No shame. I want you, if you are a mom watching this and you're like, oh, actually becoming a mom was pretty smooth and awesome and way better than I thought, and I definitely didn't look like Jessica did. I did not do what she did. You're great. We need you. We need your example, and we need your like cheering for us when it doesn't go as well. But for a lot of us, what I have found is that becoming a mother, though it is sweet and precious and wonderful, it is a life flip that a lot of times knocks us off our feet, and we feel like we're not good at this. We feel like we must be depressed, like something must be wrong. This job that seemed like it would be really natural and we would know what to do feels like a lot of guessing and failing and not knowing what to do. I'm going to talk through now some of the major things that I see to be key challenges we face in becoming moms. And the reason why I want to talk about them is because I find sometimes just hearing that other people go through the same struggle as us helps to normalize it and helps kind of for us to breathe a sigh of relief and be like, cool, I'm not alone. This still sucks. I still hate certain parts of this, but I'm not by myself. and this is temporary, and other people have done this and made it through, so I will as well. So here are some of the things. I can remember taking my newborn baby for a walk in the stroller. I was walking to a coffee shop that is not very far from my house, a Starbucks, and I cried partway through the walk. She was sleeping. She was sound asleep. Everything was totally fine. Sean was at the coffee shop. I was just supposed to be going and meeting him there. And as I'm walking, I start sobbing. And I was probably like 1 week postpartum or something. The reason why I can remember that I was freshly postpartum is that I saw a picture of myself and my boobs are humongous. They look fake. So I know that that was right when my milk must have come in and I looked a bit Hollywood. So that was fun. Partway through the walk, I'm crying like to the point where it makes no sense. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, what if she wakes up? I'm so anxious. I won't know how to take care of her. What if she poops right now on the walk? I'm not gonna know what to do. I've never changed the diaper out of the house. I was feeling like, what if she needs to breastfeed and she wasn't gonna latch properly, and then my big Hollywood boobs were gonna hurt like crazy and leak everywhere. I was so panicked. So I turn around to walk home, but I realize I'm halfway. So if I'm gonna walk home, I might as well turn around and walk to the coffee shop. So that's what I do. I get to the coffee shop, but the more I'm walking to the coffee shop, the more I am crying, to the point where I get there, I can't figure out how to get my stroller through the door, and nobody was helping open the door for me, which I just remember thinking like, why do people assume I know how to push a stroller through a door? I've never done this before and I don't know what I'm doing. So of course I'm like crying harder. Pro tip, if you're gonna push a stroller, turn the stroller around and push the door open with your butt, or like open it and then back through. Backing through doors was an excellent thing I learned from a mother at some point in my early motherhood journey. So save that away as I tell you the story. Anyway, I get to Sean, everything's fine. The baby did totally fine. She nursed, she pooped. I actually couldn't find a changing table for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't have one in the coffee shop, I don't remember. But I ended up changing her diaper on the ground. First time, I've now done that a gazillion times. Changed her diaper on the ground, everything was fine. The reason why I'm telling you that story is because it was a really good, vivid picture to me of overwhelming anxiety we feel in becoming a new mom and trying to tackle little things. I've done that walk to the coffee shop so many times. In fact, if you watch my labor and delivery vlog with Eloise, I walked to that coffee shop in labor with Eloise a week before this crying incident took place. So one of the things that makes new motherhood so intense is anxiety, such anxiety of all of this unknown, and we're trying to figure out, how am I gonna do it? I've never done this before. I found that a new baby cry, for me as the mother, must be 1,000% louder in my ears than it is everyone else, because nobody seems to have the same like alarm that goes off inside of their bodies as me. When my baby started crying, it was like the world was closing in on me. I couldn't think, I couldn't focus, I was very distracted. Other people around me, though they maybe were annoyed by the cry or felt saddened to hear the cry, it was not the same thing as what was happening inside of me, of heart racing and this kind of adrenaline and feeling like panicked that I wasn't gonna be able to fix the baby's cry. I'm now on baby number 3, and the cry doesn't affect me in the same way, because I've now learned better that the cry doesn't necessarily mean the baby's in trouble or something. It's everything's okay, and it's learning to kind of settle that while I function. But even now, the cry is still way louder for me in my mind, and psychologically, whatever it's doing in here is way more intense than what it's doing out there. Underslept, that's what I wrote. A new mom is so severely underslept usually. I have found that to be true. With Eloise, I did not sleep through the night for a year and a half. Really? Yeah, oh my gosh, that was so long. With Wilson, we sleep trained him earlier, I don't know, around 6 or 7 months. And then with Jules, she's 6 months old and we're doing sleep training now. So I'm hoping that pretty soon I'll be able to sleep through the night. Have you ever seen a tired kid? I have a few of them, and when they are tired, they're unreasonable, meltdown at all times, really hard to do anything, mood swings like shoo, 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 shoo. That's me, underslept too. And as a new mom, you were just that's how it is. And that is so challenging. You feel like you're on this timer between baby feeding, whether it's breastfeeding or with a bottle, like with Jules in the beginning, she only took bottles. So then in between feedings, you know you have only a short period of time before the next feeding. So everything is timed. And that's not just like during the day, that's around the clock. And if you have a baby who doesn't take a bottle, like my first child, then you as the mother are the only person doing feedings, which can make you feel extra like, ah. And I know that some moms love that. I've heard that some moms love being depended on in that way. I did not feel that as like a positive experience. I remember going to the grocery store one time when Eloise was super duper young, maybe a few weeks old, and I ran into a woman who had 5 children and they were grown at that point. I remember her looking at me like, oh my gosh, it must feel so good being in the grocery store. How great. Thought, wow, you really forgot this feeling? Like how could, no, it doesn't feel so good. It feels so panicky. I feel like I have an alarm in my head, or that Sean could call me any second and the baby's hungry and I'm the only one who can take care of her. And I felt like I was on a race, like race through the grocery store to get what you need and then race home quick before the baby needs you. And that was not a pleasant experience for me. What I'm not trying to do is be a Debbie Downer and tell you all of these things that are so bad about motherhood because, oh, let's feel terrible. Not at all. What I want you to do is be able to find yourself in any of these. If you relate at all to any of these challenges, then we can be like, camaraderie, we feel this. And maybe none of these relate to you. And you could leave in the comments something that you felt that was hard. And if nothing felt hard, then you just tell us in the comments that you're winging it and it's going really good. Other things that were hard as a new mom. My third baby, Jules, she was in the NICU and that was really hard. I mean, you could watch videos. I just made them a few months ago. That was super emotional for me. And then when she got out, she was really fragile and she had reflux issues, which were way more challenging than I had experienced with Eloise and Wilson. Feedings were harder. I had to hold her upright for 30 minutes after every feeding. Everything took longer. Everything was much more concerning and a bit frightening at times. And she cried a lot. Pressures from people, just outward pressures of people being like, are you vaccinating? You're not vaccinating. Are you breastfeeding? You're not formula feeding. Are you gonna use diapers that hurt the earth? Are you gonna use cloth diapers? Everyone has opinions, big, huge opinions, and the weight of motherhood is already really heavy. So then to add these other things that are like, oh my gosh, am I gonna hurt somebody or hurt my baby or hurt it just feels so emotional and intense and polarizing. Feeling alone. Oh gosh, with Jules, she was born in October of this past year. So COVID was still going on. My family couldn't travel to be here during that time. Lots of people, even close friends in the area, weren't able to help us. They had their hands full with different things. I have a really great husband. We have great friends. But when Jules was coming home, it was falling right around the time of Thanksgiving. And so our people that are normally our like main help support people all left because they had to go be with their families, which makes perfect sense. I just remember feeling really alone, like extra alone compared to with Wilson and Eloise. I did feel alone at different times with them as well. I remember with Eloise, there was a time when my friends went out to see a movie without me. I mean, without me. They didn't mean to do it without me, but that was the story that I felt in my mind. It was like, wow, my friends go do things and it's without me. And I cried feeling alone in that way and feeling like I'll never have a social life again. This time around though, with COVID, it was a different kind of alone. The first time I was hospitalized because I went into preterm labor, I was there for 3 days and that was alone. Sean couldn't be there because we didn't have anybody to watch our kids and COVID made it so you couldn't easily go in and out of the hospital. It's hard to be a new parent and feel alone. Even as a couple, it's hard to feel alone as a family unit. And COVID, I feel like, just made that way more intense. Bleeding and recovery is insane. With Jules, I bled for over 2 months. The postpartum bleeding didn't stop. I just heard of a friend who had her baby and she couldn't sit afterwards. Not everybody has brutal recoveries. With Eloise, it wasn't like that, but that's something that people don't always talk about. Breastfeeding and pumping is exhausting. If your baby doesn't latch, if you're having any sort of breastfeeding issues, mastitis, thrush, there's all kinds of stuff that goes on that makes breastfeeding so challenging and so emotional. And it's something that people don't always talk about, but it can be really difficult. Your body is changing. You're feeling insecure in places you never felt insecure before. You're wondering if you're gonna have stretch marks, and then you wonder if they're gonna go away, or your nether regions might look different and you're trying to figure that out. Your relationship with your partner, your marriage, all of that might be strained in ways that you didn't know were gonna come. For sure, that's what we have felt, especially in recent months. Hormones go crazy and it doesn't feel fair at all. It doesn't feel like they're on your team. One day you wake up and you're like, I love parenthood. This is just so wonderful. My children are angels. This is bliss. And then other times you wake up and you're like, I don't think I'm gonna make it another day. I can't do it. I'm all gone. I'm done. I say that like almost jokingly, but I did go into like a really severe depression with Eloise after I had her in the years following. When she was around 2 years old, I ended up going to a mental hospital for depression because I had gotten so suicidal. There's so much support for when you're pregnant, so very much. But then once the baby's out of you and you are going home, the support kind of ends. Like when you're pregnant, you're going into the hospital every few days or weeks, or it depends on your type of pregnancy. And then even like in public transportation, I remember in Barcelona, they had signs that say like, let the pregnant people sit, and people are always checking on you, offering you food, offering to get things for you, telling you to take a nap, reminding you to rest. Once you have the baby, the focus is on the baby. How's the baby doing? It goes then from like taking care of yourself, because yourself is where the baby lives, to taking care of the baby, because the baby is what's most important. And that can be really hard. And then it's hard to advocate for yourself and know that you need help and know that you deserve help and you're worthy of help, because the attention is on the little one. And last one, there's just not a lot of measurable success when you have a baby. Your life prior to having a baby, you were a student or you were working somewhere, you're doing things where you can say, hey, look, I did this, I worked really hard, and now this is the outcome, this measurable thing that we can look at and celebrate together. When you have a baby, there's just not as many things that are measurable successes. So maybe you're like an amazing diaper changer now, but you just don't talk about it that much. It's not the thing you're gonna call your friend and brag about. In your own day, there's a lot of tasks that you're going to start and not be able to finish because the demands of a new child are big and they're real and they're often urgent. And so you may start something and then leave it halfway undone. And that adds to this feeling of, gosh, I'm not producing anything. I'm doing a lot. I'm nonstop working. But the tangible thing that I produce just isn't there. And that can be a really hard feeling. Time blurs together. There's not a beginning and an end because your sleep is broken up. Days and weeks bleed into each other. So like Monday feels like Friday, feels like Sunday, because the schedule is all the same and there's very little change generally, especially in the very beginning. And that can be kind of crazy making too. Okay, so I just unloaded a whole bunch of stuff that might be challenging. Again, I hope that this isn't heavy on you, especially if you're a pregnant person. The last thing I want to do is discourage you. If you identify with any of that, know that you're normal. Know that you're not crazy. You're not a bad mom. There's no part of you that's failing at this. You are in a super hard stage of life. You need to know that, hear that. Being a new mom is so challenging. It is wonderful. It is sweet. There are going to be moments that you melt and you're like, I cannot believe that I get to live this life. This is such a gift. I'm so thankful. Wow, my baby is just this angel, or my babies, if you're having twins or multiples or whatever. Your baby's gonna go to sleep and you're gonna wanna look at pictures of your baby because you miss them so much. It is so precious and great, and yet it's also really challenging. And the challenges are real and there's nothing wrong with you if you feel them. And if anything, I want you to be able to give yourself permission to get the support that you need. Whatever that looks like for you. If you need a counselor, for me, that was super beneficial. Having somebody outside of my life that I could talk to, get strength from and encouragement from, that was great. If you need a nap, please take a nap. My sister is a new mom of a little baby boy who was in the NICU and now he's home, and he really struggles at night because of his reflux issues. So she was sleeping in the morning while somebody else was watching her son, and she was feeling so guilty about that. She's like, I slept through the whole morning. Can you believe it? I'm like, girlfriend, you need to sleep the whole morning. Sleep. You got to sleep whenever you can. Steal the time away. For me, I have 3 kids. Sleep is not something I can get as easily because if one of them's napping, usually the other person needs me. But coffee's been great. People treating me to coffee, That's so nice. It used to be that Sean would take certain shifts with the baby at night so that I could sleep. The baby would take a bottle of formula. Now we've switched up our schedule, so I do nights, but he helps at different times of the day. Take care of yourself, knowing that this time that you're in is really hard. It's really demanding. It's really meaningful. So all of the stuff that you're doing, even though it feels like, is this really gonna make a huge impact in the like long lasting vision of this kid's life? It is. It's hard to feel that, but it really is. It super is. This love that you're giving this child, the way you're pouring your life out for them, it is not wasted. There's no part of that is gonna be for nothing. You're incredible for doing it. And this is gonna be a really sweet part of your life that you remember forever. In fact, you might even get to a point where you forget some of this hard stuff and just are the sweet mom who's looking at the new mom in the grocery store being like, oh, aren't you just loving being able to run to the grocery store really quick? Because the goodness of this time outweighs the hard stuff so much so that later I think you really do kind of forget the hard stuff. But hopefully we don't, because I want to be able to relate to people and encourage them later. Reach out to people, ask for help, try to celebrate your little measurable successes, teeny tiny ones. If you're a good diaper changer, you can celebrate that, reward yourself. Just, I don't know, leave a comment that you're really nailing it at diaper changing. I think it's important to celebrate the little tiny successes along the way. I also think if you can find a way to make this season of your life more meaningful than it already is. For example, all these moms starting mom YouTube channels. I think part of why we do that is because it allows us to take whatever we're going through right now and share it with other people. And even if the audience is only like, I don't know, 15, 20 people, it's now impacting people's lives. And anything you can do to attach meaning to what you're going through can actually help motivate you. If you have certain people you can connect with in real life wherever you live, share your stories, share your experiences, good and bad, offer tips for people, or have somebody ask you questions. Again, if you're going through a positive motherhood experience, not even negative, for someone to ask like, how was your labor? How was your delivery? How is feeding your baby going? And you being able to share openly with somebody who's listening and understanding, that is really powerful. Highly recommended. Also, this one always gets so much fuller than this one with milk, and I can feel that happening on camera. So if I look lopsided, it's because I am, because this is around the time that Jules needs to eat some food. And like this, and maybe you can't tell. I think you're doing so great. I'm so thankful for you being here. You add a lot of meaning to my life and my experience, and I hope that I can be helpful in encouraging you. Thank you for being here. I'll see you soon.